All right, let's dive into one of the most intense El Clasicos we've seen lately. Barcelona versus Real Madrid. I mean, come on. It's always huge.
Always.
But this one felt even bigger.
Oh, yeah. This wasn't just about, bragging rights. This was Barcelona trying to really solidify their lead in La Liga.
Right.
Real Madrid trying to, catch up a little bit. And then on top of all of that, Kylian Mbappe's first El Clasico.
Oh, man. Talk about pressure, right?
Yeah.
And you can feel it in the stadium, too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it was just, the atmosphere was unbelievable.
Electric.
Just a sea of jerseys, banners, chants echoing. You could just feel that anticipation before the whistle even blew.
For sure. Right from kickoff, you could tell.
Yeah.
Barcelona had a plan. I mean, these midfielders, these guys like Pedri, Gavi, it was like watching chess masters out there. They were controlling the whole pace and flow.
So you're saying it wasn't just about individual talent then?
Yeah.
It was like a real tactical
masterclass.
Yeah.
They had it all figured out.
And you can't talk about Barcelona without talking about Lewandowski. I mean, the guy it seemed like he was always in the right spot.
Oh, yeah.
At the right time. Was that just instinct? Or was there something more to it?
Lewandowski, he's so smart. He's incredibly smart on the pitch. He's not just waiting for the ball to come to him. He's creating space. He's disrupting. He's making Real Madrid's defense constantly have to react to him.
Now, Real Madrid, they seem to be struggling to kind of get their game going.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got big names there, Kroos, Camavinga.
Yeah.
Even they couldn't seem to break through Barcelona's pressure.
Well, and this is where that tactical approach that Barcelona had really, really shines, because they were using this thing called, they call it a high press.
Okay.
So as soon as they would lose the ball, they were immediately trying to win it back.
Gotcha.
High up the field.
Yeah.
And it just suffocated any attempts by Real Madrid to build anything from the back.
Interesting. So Real Madrid's on the back foot early.
Yeah.
Crowd's going wild. And we've got Mbappe making his debut in this legendary rivalry. I mean, the pressure must have been immense.
Unbelievable. You could see he was eager to prove himself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were a couple of times where he almost broke through, like that near miss in the first half. You could just hear the whole crowd gasp as that linesman's flag went up for offside.
Yeah, and I feel like that play actually reveals something kind of interesting about Barcelona's strategy.
It does.
What were they doing to kind of keep a player like Mbappe under wraps?
It wasn't just about speed or man marking or anything like that.
Okay.
They were so disciplined in holding that defensive line,
right,
making sure they weren't caught out by his runs. It was a classic offside trap, and it worked perfectly.
So even though Mbappe didn't score there, it still kind of gives us an insight into this tactical battle that's happening on the field.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing things just heated up even more from there.
Oh, yeah. The second half is where things really exploded.
Right.
I mean, Lewandowski just took over. I mean, 2 goals back to back.
Incredible.
And it was like a clinic.
They were beautiful goals. He made it look so easy, though.
He did.
What was it about Barcelona's setup that allowed him to just, have that much success?
Well, I think it's a couple of things.
Okay.
First off, that midfield was still in control. They were dictating the pace. They were giving him time and space. And Real Madrid's defense was starting to, make some mistakes a little bit. They were leaving some gaps.
Yeah.
And a guy like Lewandowski, you give him an inch.
Right.
He's gonna make you pay.
And he did.
He did.
But, I mean, Real Madrid didn't just give up, right?
No.
Like, I remember Vinicius Jr., Bellingham trying to make things happen.
For sure.
It felt like they were trying to spark something.
They had their moments. They definitely threatened Barcelona's goal a few times. You got to give them credit.
Yeah.
They didn't quit.
Yeah.
But Barcelona's defense and Inaki Pena in goal.
Oh, man.
They were up to the task.
He made some huge saves, especially that one against Mbappe in the second half.
Oh, my God.
That felt like a turning point. If Mbappe scores there,
I know.
Do you think that game changes?
I mean, it's impossible to say for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely could have. That save was massive.
Yeah.
It kept the momentum going for Barcelona.
Right.
And it probably added to the frustration that I think Mbappe was already feeling a little bit.
He did put the ball in the net, twice more?
He did.
But both times offside.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster of emotions, right?
Yeah. And it just goes to show.
What's that?
How important those small details, those tactical details are.
Yeah.
Because in those situations, Real Madrid's passing wasn't as crisp as it needed to be. And Barcelona's defenders, they were talking to each other. Right. They were moving as a unit.
Yeah.
They timed those runs to perfection to catch Mbappe offside.
So even though those goals didn't count, it still shows you just how tight the margins are.
A tiny little miscalculation can be the difference between a goal and an offside call.
Exactly. And in a game like El Clasico, where every goal is magnified, I mean, those small details can really just decide the whole thing. But in the end, Barcelona held firm. Pena, I mean, he was a wall.
He was a wall.
In goal.
Yeah.
And they got that 4-0 win.
Convincing, yeah.
What a statement win for Barcelona. Extends their lead at the top of La Liga.
Yep.
Sends a message, right, to Real Madrid.
Absolutely.
The rest of the league, whatever. No, they mean business.
Yeah.
But, you know, Real Madrid, they're known for bouncing back.
They are.
What do you think this loss means for them kind of going forward?
I think this loss definitely exposed some things that they need to work on, especially on the defensive side.
Okay.
They cannot afford to give a team like Barcelona that much space.
So tighten things up.
But they got the players.
Yeah.
They got the experience to make those adjustments. Carlo Ancelotti.
Oh, yeah.
He's a brilliant manager.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to be using this match as a learning experience.
It's going to be fun to watch these teams kind of, you know, evolve and adapt throughout the season. This was just one chapter. Yeah. And what's going to be, I think, a very exciting La Liga race.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to go back to something you said earlier, you know, about Barcelona's midfield dominance.
Yeah.
It felt like they were in control for most of the match.
They were.
What made them so effective? Can you kind of break that down?
Yeah. It wasn't just one or two players. It was a collective effort.
Okay.
I mean, Pedri and Gavi were exceptional at keeping the ball, moving it quickly, finding their teammates in dangerous positions.
Right.
But it was also about the work they did when they didn't have the ball.
Oh, interesting.
They were constantly pressing. They were harassing Real Madrid's players, forcing them into mistakes.
So it wasn't just about the fancy footwork.
No.
It was also about that relentless effort.
Yeah.
Tactical discipline.
Absolutely. And they were so well organized.
Yeah.
They knew when to press, when to drop back.
Right.
They were always covering for each other. It was a textbook example of how to control a game from the midfield.
So it wasn't flashy, but it was
effective.
Very effective. And I think that set the foundation for everything they did going forward. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into this El Clasico, there's something that struck me beyond just like the scoreline and the individual performances.
Okay.
And the individual performances was like the contrast in styles between these two teams. Barcelona felt like they were all about precision control, whereas Real Madrid, even when they were behind, they were still looking for those, you know, those moments of like...
the quick strike.
Yeah, those quick bursts of individual brilliance.
No, and, you know, just it really speaks to the philosophies of those two clubs. Historically, Barcelona, they've always been about possession.
Right.
Building up slowly, wearing down their opponents.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, they're known for, you know...
that flair.
Yeah, they've got these incredible players who can just conjure something out of nothing.
So even though Real Madrid lost... do you think that their approach can still be effective?
I think so.
Against a team like Barcelona, or do they need to, you know...
I think they need to find a balance.
Okay.
Because they certainly have the players to play a more controlled possession style if they need to. But, you know, Real Madrid, their strength has always been...
that counterattack.
Exploiting those spaces and those individuals who can just create something out of thin air.
It makes you wonder what adjustments, if any, Ancelotti's going to make for their next encounter. Because you know these two are going to meet again.
Oh, they'll meet again.
And it's going to be...
and the stakes will be just as high.
Just as high, exactly. El Clasico, it just has a way of taking on a life of its own.
It's bigger than, you know...
it is.
It's almost bigger than the league itself.
Yeah, and for fans of football...
it's the best.
That's what makes it so great. Whether you're rooting for Barcelona's tactical mastery or Real Madrid's individual flair,
it's a show.
You know you're in for a treat.
Every time. Yeah.
And speaking of the fans...
oh, yeah.
The atmosphere was unbelievable.
It was electric.
I mean, the chat.
The banners.
The passion.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... it's a reminder of why this is one of the greatest rivalries...
oh, for sure.
in all of sports.
It's more than just a game, though, right?
It's not just a game.
It's like a cultural event.
It is. It's a clash of styles.
Yeah.
It's history.
Yeah.
You know, the identity of these two cities.
You said it perfectly. And this El Clasico with all the tactical battles.
Oh, yeah.
The moments of brilliance.
The drama.
The drama, it's going to be talked about for years.
It will be. It will be.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
right.
I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Right.
You know, we've talked about the tactics, the performances, the implications for the title race.
Yep.
But what does this match tell us about the evolution of football?
That's a great question.
Itself.
Because on one hand, you have these teams like Barcelona that are taking that tactical discipline and organization to a whole new level.
Right.
But then on the other hand, you've got these players like Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., who remind us that sometimes all it takes is one moment of magic to change everything.
It's that push and pull.
It is, right.
Between the strategic and the unpredictable.
And that's what keeps bringing us back.
That's what keeps us coming back.
For more.
Because in football, just like in life, it's often those things that we can't predict.
The things we don't see coming.
Yeah, those moments that kind of defy logic.
Yep.
That create the most lasting memories.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed this journey into the heart of El Clasico.
It was a good one.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
watching,
and keep the conversation going.